Hi, I'm Football Subs Junior, aka Zion,
Hi, I'm Football Sub Senior, aka Rajesh, and
and
together
together
we
we
are the
made the Football
Football
Subs.
Subs. Welcome to this week's episode. Or to be fair, we took a week's break because of various things, school and whatnot. So, welcome to this mega bumper episode. We're going to cover a whole host of awesome topics for you.
So we got a list right here. So it's gonna be about this episode will be about match day weeks 2 and 3, the transfer windows, the Ballon d'Ors, and some fun facts. We'll get to that later. We don't want to spoil the surprise.
Fantastic. So, Subs Junior, why don't you kick off? What should we start with first?
So
So, what topic shall we start with, Subs Junior?
let's start with the Ballon d'Or ranking. So we're gonna do the favorites and the nominees and also yeah.
That's a great idea. But as some of you know, as many of you know, the Ballon d'Or for the last season, which will be presented typically towards the end of this year, the nominations
Mhm.
were announced, and there were a lot of expected nominees. So let's talk about who they are. So, what do you think, Subs Junior?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's start about the young player of the year
So
in
the
the
young
Ballon d'Or award. Who would be the nominees? As many of
Lamine
you know,
Yamal,
Jude Bellingham won last year.
yes, and I
So, who
mean
are some of the favorites who were nominated, and who are some of your
so
favorites?
my favorites are Lamine Yamal, who else? Hmm, Phil Foden, Jude Bellingham, of course. There are loads of 25-year-olds
Or
like
lesser than that, maybe Nico Williams. So, yeah, you're right actually. Ballon d'Or, as many of you know, is given to the most consistent performer for club and country. If you take all of that into account, I would say Phil Foden has a very good chance.
yes, but
He's still young. He was the PFA Player of the Year. He's still young. We talked about it last time. But Lamine Yamal, what a breakout star. If you actually think about it, he's just 16, well, 17. So technically, he could continue to win the Young Player of the Year for the next 5 or 6 years. How cool
hmm,
would that be? Anyway, let's go to the main award itself. So, Junior, did you know that this is the first year since
hmm,
2003 when something hasn't happened?
hmm,
Neither Ronaldo nor Messi are in the nominations.
yes.
And do you know also know this will be the first time that there will be a new winner because literally Ronaldo and Messi have won all awards except a couple of times when we had Luka Modric and if I remember correctly, then Karim Benzema also win.
Yes, he won
So they are not,
2022.
yeah,
Yeah.
they are not nominated right now.
And
So
and
it's
and fun fact, in 2020, the Ballon d'Or season was closed because of COVID.
COVID. That's right. So, in terms of the big nominations, yes, England has 6 nominees, but obviously Spain dominates it. And who do you think are going to be the favorites?
From Spain, probably Rodri. And I mean that if you think of it, he's the person who creates the goals. And I mean the people who score them. I mean the task is like I think it's harder when you're the one creating the goals, because like the striker's the one who takes the shot. So yeah.
That is true. So Rodri is a favorite, but I'll come to hold that thought. So what about Vinicius Junior? He had a fantastic season with Real
For me,
Madrid.
I think he might be the award winner.
That is true.
I
That is
mean,
true.
there are
It's
loads of nominees.
yeah, there are
Yeah.
loads of nominees, and of course from England you have other nominees like Declan Rice and Harry Kane, who's an English player, and so on. Of course, Erling Haaland has to be nominated. When does he not be nominated? And given the red hot form he's had, we'll cover that in a while. So that is that. So it should make for some interesting choices for the people who vote, and we'll keep you posted as that progresses. Let's move to the next topic, Subs
Transfer
Junior.
windows.
The transfer window closed in England, as you know. Certain other places it's
The
still open,
and
like the
it
Middle East.
had a nice, but it had a nice llast 24 minutes
24
before
hours
the
and
deadline.
minutes, actually. You're right.
And so Arsenal managed to steal from Raheem Sterling from Chelsea for on loan, and also and there were loads of brilliant signings.
But there were a few others, like Arsenal, as you know, let go of. their
But
goalkeeper Ramsdale
yep, let
to
me. So,
Southampton.
and I think I think they need to sign Raheem Sterling because of this. When Saka's injured, they need someone to replace, and also like Trossard's got the good finishing. Martinelli's got some explosive pace on the substitute bench when you need it.
Correct.
And Sterling's like got the dribbling and the pace, and
Yeah.
not that he's a good creator, but goals, no, that's his
Well,
weak spot. But
but the
he's a brilliant player.
that's true. And do you know why Arteta signed him? Because Arteta was the assistant coach at Man City, and he loved Sterling. Sterling and Arteta had an amazing partnership. So Arteta actually has very high hopes for Sterling, and may he work well for Arsenal. Arsenal, of course, let go of Nketiah, Emil Smith Rowe, and Ramsdale, among others.
And Smith Rowe scored in his home debut in the Premier
In
League.
Fulham, how cool a start was that, really? So let's watch how these players progress. There were Ivan Tony was available till the very end. He's finally gone to Saudi Arabia. I think it was Al Ali, if I'm not mistaken. So he's gone there. And there were a few other good changes. Victor Osimhen also, I think, may move to Saudi Arabia, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and
A few others moved in. Chelsea went in and let go of Conor Gallagher, who's moved to Atletico Madrid. But a couple of interesting facts about transfers. We were talking about on the previous segment about Ballon d'Ors typically being given not to strikers but to others. Did you know that this year in the transfer window, the maximum value of transfer was to the creative midfielder and to the like a Rodri or somebody or a defensive midfielder like Declan Rice. They average about 25 million euros. Strikers average much lower. So that's how the whole football game itself is changing. And another interesting fact in the English Premier League transfer window, do you know who had the maximum net spend? Net spend meaning players purchased minus players sold. Which club had the maximum spend? Yes.
Arsenal.
No.
Wait,
Arsenal were in the.
cut this. What is it?
Do you know who was it?
Brighton.
That is true. Brighton is one of the most profitable teams in the Premier League. They make a lot of profit. They wanted to use it and build a strong team with core players, and they've scouted players from around the world. And we covered the last time, right? They have the youngest manager in the Premier League, 31 years old. So Brighton did well. The other teams that also spent a lot of money were some of the promoted teams. Ipswich spent a lot of money. They were number 2 on the list. Arsenal were there in the top 6 or 7. But do you know who was 20th on that list? Who actually spent the least amount? In fact, they sold players and made more money than they purchased. You would never guess. It was the defending champion,
Man City.
They ended the season at a negative net or so a profit surplus of 105 or so million. Liverpool was also in the bottom 3. That's how the transfer windows are changing. People are spending where they want to spend. Arsenal clearly is spending because they want to win the championship. The um, promoted teams want to stay on top. So that's how they're doing. So we'll keep you posted on how these newly transferred players make it throughout the season. Should we talk about the big footballing action, which we haven't really covered in the last week or so?
Match
Match days 2 and 3.
So
So
if Sub Senior will think of the first match.
So let's talk about match day 2. Things more or less went to plan, didn't they? The top of the table teams maintained their strong form and won. Man City did remarkably well. In fact, didn't they play Ipswich at home? They had a shock when Ipswich scored first and took the lead, and Ipswich will carry that till the rest of the season. But then, who else to enter to come and score a hat trick but the one and only Haaland? Haaland. Anyway, Haaland scored a hat trick, and all form was returned back to the table. Liverpool played really well. I think is having a tremendous start.
But Man City are top of the table on goal difference.
Correct. But if you think about it, on match day 2, what else happened? Man United, whom we thought had a decent start, lost with a injury time goal
Yeah.
from.
But Casemiro.
Brighton.
Casemiro and one of the goals that Diaz scored.
Hmm.
I don't know. I mean, Casemiro just passes the ball
Hmm.
tries to get it to the goalie, but no, he doesn't succeed.
Correct. So all of those things. Of course, Arsenal. They played in match day 2 away to Aston Villa.
Aston Villa, yes.
Who were the only team who took away 6 points from Arsenal, if you remember,
Last
year.
season.
And watch him, what a match it was. Arsenal, of course, played very
And the
defensively and
save
were
of
behind
this,
throughout. Yeah.
and the save of the season, David Raya. So the shot that's deflected
Yeah.
goes up, and then Watkins header. He missed, but Watkins had
Easy chances,
not
didn't he?
really, open goal miss, and he
So,
didn't play really well.
and of course, counter punch. Leandro Trossard, he was left on the bench.
And he
He
scored on
comes
his
and
first
our man
touch.
scores on his
He's
first
a
touch.
game changer.
He is a game changer, and he, as if to make a point, he did not celebrate, as if to tell Arteta, "I'm upset with you. You didn't select me. You didn't start with me. You only put me on the bench." And finally, his team asked him to do his trademark celebration, which is Trossard's trademark celebration. Yes, so that happened. The rest of the teams did well, as we were saying. Uh, Brighton won against Man United, so Brighton uh, ended the table at the top basically. Man City played very well, so they were joint top, and Arsenal was also up there along with Liverpool. So match day 2 was interesting. The other results more or less went to form. A few teams got the first points, and so on. So what happened in match day 3, Junior?
So Rice got a red card, but I disagree. And after that, the Premier League apologized to him for giving him a red card. But so the first red card, I don't know why. Yellow card, I don't know why he got it because I mean, so Jao Pedro just takes a free kick, but that's not how you take a free kick. You don't just throw the ball 5 meters ahead of you. And while the ball's rolling, it just touches his feet, and then he's given a yellow card.
Well,
Is that
by the letter of the law, people say that it was rolling towards him, and he touched his foot and he did deflect it a little bit outside. But reality was it was rolling, so Weltman could not have taken a quick free kick, so he wasn't impeding that. Look, everybody bar none have said that it's the got to be the worst refereeing decision.
Yep.
By the letter of the law, you could argue that it was okay, but everybody agrees. And if you follow some of the other podcasts with some of our other friends, they've been completely saying that it's the worst thing. However, Rice, he is a legend. He's already shown tremendous maturity.
This is his first red card in his career.
First red card in his career, definitely in the Premier League. He comes back and he apologizes. He apologized to the team. What a big man he is. He apologizes to all the fans. He said his red card was the difference between Arsenal winning or not. Because to be fair, Arsenal was dominating. And what happened after that? Of course, Brighton had a wonderful comeback and a superb goal. Arsenal did have their chances. Arsenal did have some chances to go up, but eventually they were defending that particular score, and the match ended as a draw. I think Arsenal would be happy to have come away with 1 point, but that means first points dropped for Arsenal, and who else to capitalize on this lapse? Both Arsenal and Brighton, who were top, had their 100% record blown away. But what happened to the others on the top? So what happened to the top of the table then? To the other two teams with 100% records? Man City.
Man City, yep. They
In match day 3.
They beat West Ham 3-1, and you know who scored.
You know who scored yet?
The hat trick.
He is in supreme form this season. And he who shall not be named. I think he probably has a Horcrux because nothing ever happens to him.
We're Harry Potter.
We're Harry Potter fans. Well, he more than me. But he who shall not be named, well, I will name him, is Haaland. From the same angle, he scored 3 different types of goals from the same area. A dink, a shot, a finesse. Oh my god. And you know what? This season, I think he's answered. Last season, wasn't there somebody,
Yeah.
Roy Keane, or somebody said that he is like a striker is great, but everything else he's like a League Two player, and he took it to heart. This year he runs a lot. He goes, he defends, he dispossesses, and he runs back. Like we said at the beginning of the season, sure shot golden boot.
And
8 goals already. No, 7 goals already.
but he's
7
not
goals
that
already.
much of a provider, no assists. But that's the thing that's the thing that strikers do. They go and score.
You know what? If I had Haaland in my team, I will sit behind and pass the ball to him, and then I'll have a cup of tea and a samosa and will wait for him to go and score the goal. And I will ask him, Haaland, do you want a cup of tea and your samosa between your second and third goal? Well, that's how Haaland is. You go. And what about the other top of the table team, Liverpool? Aren't they looking like the real deal?
Yeah.
Arne Slot. Isn't he slotting right in? Sorry for all the
Don't-
puns. But coming back. So Arne Slot, what a start
Yeah.
at Liverpool. First 3 games. I don't think even the big Klopp had that. First 3 matches winning. And who did they beat? They beat the traditional rivals.
Man United
Man
and
United.
Ipswich Town.
They trashed Man United. You know something, Liverpool, we all predicted that once Klopp goes, all their big stars would go. They won't play very well. Nothing will happen. Look, they are playing supremely well. We've got Salah. What a dream form. Goals, assists after assists after
3
assists.
goals, not bad.
So many assists. Van Dijk, a wall at the back. And I think Liverpool are still not conceded. They're the only team who has not conceded yet in the Premier League. Amazing, right? And yeah, Trent Alexander-Arnold, and all these 3 players are at the last year of their contract. In the last year of their contract, so they they're just enjoying themselves right now. It's quite amazing. Salah came out and said, "Look, I just want to play football. Liverpool hasn't given me a contract." So anyway, that's anyway great things over there. A few other interesting things happened. Ipswich. I think Ipswich, of all the promoted teams, they've had a great start, haven't they? They got a point. They of course lost to they got Man City and Liverpool in their first 2 games. How unlucky! They got their first point this weekend. That went very well. And what about the comeback of all comebacks? 87th minute, Everton was
leading
by
1 goal.
2-0. Not just by 1 goal, by 2-0.
In the end,
And then Bournemouth came in and scored 3. And you always say one goal leads to another, and that is exactly what happened. Those nervy moments, and poor Everton fans, they're still waiting for their first win. In fact, the first points of the season. So it doesn't help yours truly, who still has Jordan Pickford in his fantasy football team. But okay, fine. Moving on from that. So all in all, Matchday 3 has drawn first blood amongst the title chasers, with Man City and Liverpool clearly at the top, neck and neck. Brighton and Arsenal exactly even, both on goal difference as. Um, so Brighton and Arsenal. So there are these top 4. Chelsea did okay. Cole Palmer was again in the goals and assists, golden boy. He did really well. And the other teams are doing okay. I mean, it promises to be a good season. So just 3 days to go, 35 more match days to come. And the coming weekend, we are going to take a break because
from
of
this podcast. Yeah, because of
international
break, and we're gonna bring you a lot on the episode after that.
Yeah. To the next section, which is also a fun fact section, which is
The derbies we're gonna be talking about.
what
today.
are derbies?
Sub Senior will explain to you what the meaning of derby means.
So the derbies are typically matches that are played with 2 teams that have a strong connection, either with the same city or something or the other. You know how it originated? Liverpool and Everton. The stadiums are Merseyside derby, and there is a open space in between, which was originally owned by the Earl of Derbyshire, and hence when they two started playing, it was called the Derby match, and that name just stuck to mean that derby. Do you know some of the other big derbies happening
there
globally?
There are loads like the firm derby,
Old Firm
the
derby.
old firm derby.
And the fun fact, the Old Firm derby happened last weekend.
And
which is between
Celtic and Rangers.
And who won?
Celtic.
They won. What is the score?
3-0.
3-0. Yeah, Celtic's been the much better team. Rangers, of course, did very well a few seasons ago when Steven Gerrard was their boss.
Yeah.
So that's one. Which is the other derby in London?
The North London derby.
The North London derby.
Tottenham and Arsenal. Yeah.
So last year, of course, Arsenal took away 4 points between that derby. And which is one of the biggest derbies, the one in Spain.
El Clasico.
Between
Barcelona and Real Madrid.
Yeah, that's been
The
terrifically fought.
The top two teams in La Liga.
Real Madrid has been going ahead of late because of their big players, and you kind of predict that's how it will be. But Barcelona has the young talent, so we shall see what happens.
Just like they have young talent like Lamine Yamal, we was talking about him in Ballon d'Or rankings.
Yeah. And you also have the Northwest derby that was played last weekend, which is Liverpool Man United. In fact, Liverpool Man City is called the M69 derby because of the road that connects them. One more fun fact, especially to all our Indian listeners: if you follow football in India, the biggest rivalry in India are two Calcutta clubs, Mohun Bagan and East Bengal. That's called the Calcutta Derby or the Bodo match. Bodo match means big match in Bangla.
These are some of the derbies that
we know. And if you know any interesting derbies, then
email to us.
Email to us or write it in the comments.
Yeah, and if you enjoyed this episode, like and subscribe and share it with your friends. And once again, we are the Football Subs.
Thank you for listening. Thank you for listening, and see you the next time. Bye for now.
Bye.